On the 17th of May 1922, after the War for Irish Independence, the ownership of Portobello Barracks in Rathmines in Dublin passed to the Provisional Government of Ireland. It was immediately occupied and became the general headquarters of the Irish Free State Forces, with Michael Collins as Commander-in-Chief. In 1952, Portobello Barracks was renamed after another soldier who'd fought in 1916, Cathal Brugha, or as it is known by all who served there, the Brugha. The steady routine of barrack life is one that changes little over time and is easily recognised by all ex-service men and women. Many soldiers across the ages will be familiar with the story told by barrack barber Private Noel MacDonald. His story begins on Monday, the 22nd of August 2011, with morning parade on the battalion square and the soldiers being chased off parade by the battalion sergeant major to get a haircut. Soon many soldiers were queuing in Noel's barber shop, waiting their turn in the chair. Noel has decorated his shop with memorabilia that he's collected over his time in the Brugha. And these items help keep the conversation flowing while waiting for Noel's services. On that Monday morning in August, one soldier asked about the now iconic photograph of General Michael Collins striding through Cathal Brugha Barracks in the full No. 1 uniform of the General Staff of Óglaigh na hÉireann. Noel began to tell the tale of Collins's relationship with the Brugha, how he'd lived and worked there as First Commander-in-Chief. It's easy to see, while all in attendance listened in awe, as Noel told how Collins had indeed set out from Cathal Brugha Barracks on his ill-fated tour of the southwestern counties, which was to culminate in his death at the Bailnablaw ambush. They say a picture tells 1,000 words, but this image captures a moment in time, which is surrounded by history. It shows Collins at the height of his powers, both physical and political. He strides purposefully towards the camera without acknowledging it, as he passes on his way to his accommodation in the Red House, which is to the rear of the camera position. Noel's research into the image and its place, both in time and location, is almost forensic in its thoroughness, and provides a fascinating tour through the image and how the many elements were investigated to reveal how Collins came to be photographed there on that day. This is not a normal day in the Brugha. The crowd in civilian clothes in the background and the children playing openly on the left of the picture give clues to the true reason for the timing of the photograph. The day is the 7th of August 1922, and Collins has just attended a funeral mass in the Garrison Church. Despite Collins's apparent detachment from all around him, the little smiling boy dressed in the kilt, seen on Collins's right, is Alphonsus Culleton. Collins had taken him under his wing when he found the boy being held for questioning in the barracks. He took a shine to the lad and arranged for him to be taken into the army despite his junior age. Alphonsus became Fonzie and was never far from the big fellow as he made his rounds. Fonzie did in his later years remark that the big fellow's stride was hard to keep up with. He was a big, strong, fit man and always on the move. In the image, Fonzie's gaze is firmly fixed on Collins, and the admiration that he had for the big fellow and the pride he felt in being allowed in his company is clearly evident. You can almost imagine his careful selection of his position in the photograph so that his eyes make contact with both Collins and the camera, thereby confirming the bond between them in the mind of the viewer. As Collins strides out of the image with Fonzie in tow, few could imagine that the big fellow was just 15 days and 200 miles from his death at Bale-na-Blah. But the story of this image doesn't end with the demise of Collins or the passing of time between then and now. The image became iconic as it was taken so close to his death, and demonstrates the moment in time and context in which these events were to happen. But to finish the story of the image and its historical context within Cathal Brugha barracks, we must now return to the barber shop and allow Noel to take up the story of how the chance conversation that Monday morning led to great things for the soldiers of the Brugha and the revival of Collins's links with their barracks.
Well, I think it was about 7 years ago, a young lad who was sent down for a haircut. When he came in, we were talking away, and he said to me about the Michael Collins photograph. Where was it taken? And I said, I don't know where it was taken. I'd find out everything that I could about the photograph. It took 2 years approximately to find out everything, how he came to be standing there, where he was in the picture, where exactly was his foot hitting the ground, and why was he there. I went to the GOC, he was really intrigued. He said, what's the next move? And I said, what I'd like to do is get some kind of stone where Michael Collins' foot hit in the picture, and each year could we do some kind of a parade on the 22nd of August, the date that Michael Collins got shot, just to say we honour our first Commander-in-Chief. So then we went about getting the Gaelic on it, and on the bottom of the stone is that it's funded by the soldiers of Cathal Brugha barracks. Success-wise, the feeling that came out of it was all good. It's our parade for our Commander-in-Chief. It happens on the 22nd of August every year, exactly 12 o'clock in the day, because that's when the picture was taken. Yeah, the first year I think we had 300 at it, and then the second, third, fourth year we have about 500 to 700 people, so it's gone from strength to strength. Yeah, perfect. But it's when you see all the old colonels and all the old generals coming in, because it was their first Commander-in-Chief, that's when you know that you're after doing something right. And then we've got the Michael Collins family, and they've come to us and donated pieces of Michael Collins' history to the museum. So it's gone from strength to strength.
The image on this memorial reminds all who pass by of an historic moment in time and cements the link between Michael Collins, first Commander-in-Chief of Óglaigh na hÉireann, and those who continue the traditions of service, duty and honour in Cathal Brugha barracks.